All right, guys, how's it going? I want to take a quick second to share a little bit about how I'm setting up my classroom in preparation for the HyFlex model, how I'm setting up my tech, and a little bit of the procedures that I'll be experimenting with as we start moving into having kids on the Zoom meeting and kids in the classroom at the same time. Now, as we know, there's no real roadmap for what we're about to get into. There's no exact playbook, and when it comes down to it, every one of us has our own sort of style and expectations, our own content areas and activities and assignments and projects that we need to work with. So it really comes down to finding out what works best for you, what you're comfortable with, testing out your equipment, and just taking it step by step, allowing yourself some grace, and experimenting and adapting as we start moving into our HyFlex model. So, a little bit about my setup. Here on my teacher desk, I have two computers, and I've been running my Zoom meetings from my classroom since the beginning of the year, and this is how I have it set up. Computer number one, I have connected to my projector and pole vault and audio system in my room, and computer number two is my personal laptop. So with computer number one, I start and initiate my Zoom meeting and make this the main host. I unmute this camera and unmute this microphone, and with computer number two, what I do is utilize a link that I posted on Canvas to rejoin my own Zoom meeting. So in my Zoom meeting, there's two instances of Mr. Caldwell. This one has my camera and microphone unmuted. This one, I mute the camera, mute the microphone, so there's no feedback going back and forth. And I also make myself a co-host of my meeting in Zoom. This allows me to then project whatever presentations or slides I'm trying to work with on here. And on this computer, I have all my students' faces pulled up in Zoom, and I also have the chat box opened up in there, okay? So, when we start getting into the HyFlex model and having kids in the room and kids on the Zoom, my plan at the beginning of the period is to be projecting the students' faces who are on Zoom up onto the projector, and then utilizing this nifty little webcam that we all got, set up on a tripod to kind of show a live feed of what's going on in the room so that my students at home can kind of feel connected to what we're doing in the room, and the students in the room can see the kids on the Zoom meeting up on the projector. I have that pulled up right there, as you can see. So that's also connected to the audio. So whatever these kids, when we're asking questions, checking in, doing attendance, any sort of bell ringer activities, or any sort of social emotional check-in, the kids that are on the Zoom meeting, their audio will be coming through the room. And then for the kids that are in the room, they will either unmute their mic from their Zoom meeting, or if they're not going to be joining the Zoom meeting, what I have gone ahead and done is I got myself this little nifty conference mic that I found on Amazon. It was only $20, and this pretty much picks up all the audio in the room. So I have this connected to either my laptop or my main computer, depending on which one I want to have for the day or for whatever my purpose is. And that allows students in the room to not have to unmute their microphone, but we can still hear what they're saying. So when we're posing questions or having conversations, this picks up all the audio in the room. I tested it out, and it works pretty well, okay? Now, the reason that I like to use my laptop for my presentation or whatever sort of slides I'm sharing is that I could be mobile with this. I know some people might just be teaching from their computer desk. Some of you guys might like to use a podium in the front of the room. Depending on your style and your preference, having a laptop gives you the freedom to move to different parts of the room and still monitor what's happening on your Zoom meeting. One of the biggest takeaways that we learned doing our simulation is that you need to be able to see your chat box and still be able to see the kids that are on the Zoom, okay? So once I start presenting my lesson and presenting my slides, those kids that are on the projector, their pictures are going to be minimized to the side so that the students in the room can see what's going on the slide, up on the projector as far as my slides and content that I'm trying to cover. Now, it's important to consider making one of your students in your classroom a chat moderator. That way that if there's questions or things that come up during their Zoom meeting, one of your students can let you know so that you're not constantly having to have one eye on the chat. Pick one of your students. Pick somebody that you're comfortable with to make them a chat moderator to let you know if things are going on in there. So just, and then as far as our webcam goes, I'm gonna have this on a tripod so that I can angle it and show kids in the room, so when they're talking or discussing or sharing ideas, the kids at home can kind of get a sense of what's going on here at the room, so that we can all kind of feel like we're doing our best to try to make this feel like all-inclusive and all-together as much as possible as we move into the HyFlex model. So, as I said, this is how I'm wrapping my head around this. It's not perfect. I'm sure that there's still gonna be issues that need to be ironed out. It's just an example of how I'm doing it. This is no way me saying this is how you should do it or you have to do it. Really, it comes down to you finding what's comfortable for you, what you are, what works best for your situation and your activities and your content area, and you know, taking it day by day, taking small steps and learning and adapting and evolving as we move through this crazy situation. So good luck to you guys. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to share some insights with you guys. Thank you.